Morning, guys.
Just went through the comment section.
I got woken up by Moon meowing at me, telling me it's time to wake up. Yeah. I think I have a good idea why he's called Moon. Just look at the size of this boy.
He's a big old boy.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him some food. I think that's why he's been meowing at me. It is time to wake up too. We gotta go to the War Museum today. We wanna have as much time as we want there. They close at 5, so if we eat some breakfast and leave, I'm sure we'll have around 5 hours there. And this is how we've been sleeping. We got 2 couches here that you can fold out. Basically the same design as the couch in the other apartment we were. Yeah, it's been nice. Oh, there we go. Got some light in here. And let's get something to eat too. We're having some rolled oats with banana. Sugar for me, no sugar for Dion. I think he's watching some Thai ads I posted yesterday. They're pretty funny, man. We had our rolled oats and our Somali tea. And I had a cigarette and a bunch of talking. I'm just talking all the time, all day, every day. I'm just talking to my aunt. It's nice, man. I'm learning a lot about my family history I didn't know about. But yeah, we're going over to Husum Toll to catch the 5C line to go to the War Museum. Got all these pigeons. We gotta catch that bus over there. Got a ticket for Dion, none for me, thank you. It's one of them long buses with a flex in the middle. Passing by Tivoli right now, the oldest amusement park in Denmark, maybe the world, I'm pretty sure. This is the entrance I'm used to using to get in there, but there's a few different ones. We gotta get in this direction over here. Check that house out, that's pretty old. We're almost there now.
That's the thing in Europe too, I noticed, like they have like houses just like completely switched, no space in between.
Yep. You gotta be efficient in these inner cities. I think that boat right there is a restaurant. We're gonna stand in here. I want to get a cigarette before we go in. I don't think we can leave the premises once we're in there. I think I'm gonna stand here. Oh wow, check this building out, huh? I'm not even sure what the fuck that building is, man. There's so many old buildings here, big official buildings and shit. I'm not even sure what this one is. But it's pretty. It's grand.
Yeah, great architecture.
Yeah. We looked it up. This is Christiansborg, or the castle or palace of Christian, presumably Christian IV, prominent Danish king. He did a lot of things like erect the War Museum and a bunch of other stuff. Dion went on ahead. He's kinda speeding through this place. I'm just sticking at the early part of the exhibition, checking out the drones and information about the drones. Just listening to some of these videos and reading all this stuff. I feel like Dion's just speed running this place. But I want to hear about all this stuff. That's a very familiar face. King Christian IV, the guy who was responsible for the War Museum. So Frederick IV of Denmark went to Italy and fell in love with a woman. For whatever reason, he couldn't be with that woman, and she later went to live in a church. What do you call it? Like to become a nun? But as a consolation prize, he got these Italian cannons with him from the early 1700s. And over here we see a progression of cannons over the ages. First, we got one from the 1400s that's rear-loaded, shooting stone pellets or buckshot made of iron pellets. This one was rear-loaded, so it didn't really have that much power. It wasn't tight. As with these ones that are made from a single piece it was forged from a single piece of metal. And then you see, this is from the mid-1600s. It could shoot 1400 meters. This one is only 500 meters. And then you just see the progression. This one, they started including rifling for the first time. And then it starts becoming more and more modern looking as you get over here. This is a little bit before the First World War, 1876. We're already up to 4 kilometers here. And then this was used during the First World War, 10 kilometers. And then all the way over here we got this one up to 50 kilometers from, I believe, the 60s. It is.
Halberd over here too.
Oh my, I love horse armor. And look at that claymore over there.
Oh yeah.
I got a thing for horse armor. I love horse armor. Look at the craftsmanship of this. This must have taken hundreds, if not thousands of hours to make.
Yeah, they even put like designs into the damn thing.
Yeah. The claymore was definitely not a popular, we called it a Zweihander, or like, well, the Germans did a two-hander.
I mean, it's basically a spear with extra steps.
Yeah.
Arm over here.
Yeah, this is some Danish history. Yeah, this is when Denmark was brilliant back in these times. This is when we did some glorious battle, some glorious fighting. This is from 1559. 1559, so this is 1500 stuff.
That's a weird looking armor.
Yeah, I wonder what that thing. Oh, that's a locking mechanism. I think it's to lock yourself onto the horse.
I mean, that would have saved your life.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you fall off a horse with something that heavy, man, you're done for. You gotta stay on the horse.
Or somebody would just walk up and stab you.
Just look at the craftsmanship. I mean, this is not what a regular soldier would have.
Basically, was useless once you start getting like any type of firearms involved there.
That is an evil fucking weapon right there. Look at that. This is a skull basher.
Oh, really? I've never seen one like that before.
Me neither.
Like, I thought that was the skull basher.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But this thing has such a small point of impact. Like, you can really make some dents in a helmet with that thing. Really give some guy a concussion. Oh my god, these muskets.
These muskets are ornate, dude.
They look like some... Yeah, they look crazy. They got all kinds of ivory in there. All kinds of engraving in the metal and stuff. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, muskets were dangerous as hell in the fire, but like this is like something to put up on a wall.
Some of them even have rifling. Wow. They even have a ton of stuff from a private collection from the 1870s and 1830s. Some private collectors died and left all this stuff here. This is not regular Yaris, regular weapons. This is most of it to me seemed like, well, maybe except for the pitchfork, most of it to me seems like something richer and wealthier samurai or fighters would have.
Especially with that mask.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite at the daimyo level, but definitely up there. And this right here, the Odachi, my favorite weapon of all time. There is nothing that I want to own more than this. Sadly, I can't travel around Europe with such a weapon, but I would love to be able to. I think I could be able to, I could probably conceal something like this. I'm not sure what it's called, but the shorter type of katana.
I forgot what it's called too.
Look at this guy. He's damn near as tall as me. Like, this guy would be considered a fucking giant at his time. We're back to some more 1600s type shit over here. I'm not really a big fan of the 1600 type stuff, but it's still interesting. A guide just came over, a guy who works here, and gave us a little bit of history about these things. He told us that these guns here, these long barrel guns, it's because they didn't have rifling yet. So to make the weapons more accurate, they would have longer barrels, and they would bring them out on boats to shoot birds with, like swans. And that it was very important to shoot these swans in a not near the head or the neck. You'd have to try and shoot them in the ass so that you could present the swan at a banquet and it would look immaculate. He also told us that this weapon specifically here, this flintlock right here, some of these are typical flintlocks, other ones are the winding type of flintlocks, like these ones down here. But this one specifically was owned by Christian V. Beautiful. I mean, just look at the decorations on this, the craftsmanship that went into all of this. And look at the ivory and stuff on these. I mean, these are just beautiful. And I know I love the Odachi, the two-handed katana, but you really gotta give it to him. Oh yeah, and he told me this one was made out of the shell of a turtle right here. And this one up here is made out of antler. But of course, these were all owned by incredibly rich people. This was not for regular people. And also, he told us that typically these sabers would be in a kit with a knife and a saber. And when they went hunting, the royals or the people who owned property, they would bring a saber on horseback to, attack the animal and then use the knife to finish the job. So they came in pairs. Of course, it was very normal to use to use crossbows as well for hunting. And these spears specifically were for killing boars. That little piece of antler there was so that the spear would get stuck into the boar, so that it wouldn't slip out of the boar again when they got them. This is a collection of stuff from the Russian the Imperial Russian Army that was dissolved in the years 1917 to 1919. Most of the officers were killed, and the ones who survived, they wanted to be buried ceremoniously in their uniforms with all of their stuff. And so all of this history would have essentially been wiped out if not for this one guy. What was his name again? Levkovich. If not for him, basically all of this would have disappeared. So, and even getting the stuff here was difficult because Europe was at war and the British were bombing the Germans. But this somehow made it by train all the way through Europe, through bombing and all kinds of stuff during the Second World War. Some of the few pieces that remain from the Imperial Russian Army. Even a bunch of tomes of history and stuff. Just think of all the military history that has been completely wiped out and eradicated, where not a single artifact remains. This could have been one of those cases. This is a 1 to 30 scale of the flagship of Christian IV, one of the more noteworthy kings of Denmark. This was called Trefoldigheden. I don't really know how to translate that. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful flagship. Oh, check this out. Here's like a sliced open version of, I don't think that's the same ship. You can get an idea of the different layers of these older flagships or big ships of the time. They had multiple, what do you call, stories in there, I guess. Quite immaculate. Big ass propeller. Wow. And every single piece of rope is accounted for. This looks like a damn mess. Like, you really don't see this in movies. You don't really see the extent of how many ropes they had to have to be able to control all of these sails. I love these miniatures they got going here. This is the Battle of Øresund, when the Swedes attacked the Danish Norwegian king and the Dutch had to come help out. Thankfully, with the help of the Dutch, the Swedish siege of Copenhagen was repelled.
You can see just like on the Mary Rose, this is anti-boarding net on top.
And here's another battle. Not quite sure which one. Let's see. This is the Battle of Køge, or Køge, rather, in 1677. During the Scandinavian War of 1677 to 1679, or sorry, 1675 to 1679, there was a long streak of naval battles. The fight for the naval supremacy had become essential for the warfare. In the summer of 1677, a Danish fleet under the commander of Niels Juel was placed off Stevns on the eastern coast of Zealand. On July 1st, 1677 at 4 a.m., the Danish fleet was attacked by a larger Swedish fleet. A fierce battle had begun. The talented naval officer Niels Juel managed to deal the Swedes a major blow. There were approximately 375 casualties on the Danish side, while the Swedes lost almost 3,000 men and 8 ships. This makes the Battle of Stevns the greatest Danish naval victory ever. Blueprint of a legendary Danish machine gun, the M62. That's actually amazing. And here's the blueprint for a cannon of some sort. I want to show you guys everything, but I can't.
This would still be pretty viable today, though. Like most of these machine guns and bazooka. This is a 50 cal right here.
This one says, "Take care of your tools. You work poorly with poor tools. Keep it in proper order. Take care of your tools. The government is paying." You say, "No, you're paying," the government says.
I mean, it's the truth. I mean, many of these weapons would still be pretty viable today, but you got the hands on it and the ammunition and whatever.
This one is about dressing properly, and this one is about wearing proper footwear. This one says the army's wagons are for military transport, not for Sunday driving. This one says, okay, that's good. I'm not really too interested in the Second World War type of stuff, but I do need to show you guys this. Okay, so check this out. Because you have to remember that the Danish government folded. And that also means that there were Danish soldiers fighting for the Nazis. A lot of people don't think about that. They just mention the freedom fighters, but nah. There was a lot of people fighting for the Nazis in Denmark. Yeah, this is less of an area of my interest. They say war never changes. But we sure are good at finding new and more efficient ways of killing each other and killing more and destroying more, huh? I mean, what's the end of it gonna be? People thought nuclear weapons would be the end of it, but I have a feeling that we're gonna make nuclear weapons look like bows and arrows at some point. At some point, nuclear weapons are gonna be like throwing stones at each other. We're gonna have to find an enemy from another world at some point. Otherwise, the planet is gonna be the final battleground. Look at this craftsmanship. Would we even be able to make stuff like this today? I know by modern standards, this stuff is considered archaic, mechanical, but I feel like so many crafts are being lost. Like going back to those swords and muskets we saw with all the decoration and craftsmanship, I don't see craftsmanship like that today. I feel like we're losing a lot of the skills that took us all of humanity to acquire. Whoever built these miniatures must have had an interesting time doing so. You can really see the love and the craftsmanship that went into these. Check it out. Me and Dion checked out all of the War Museum. Now we're just chilling out in the hammocks here. These hammocks are not half bad, honestly. Without the dysentery and all the diseases and the terrible food that they ate on those ships and the long voyages, this would have actually been pretty nice, I imagine. Especially if you were into guys, right? Because no ladies allowed.
They had girls on them ships, it's just, it wasn't a common thing.
Yeah, and they probably got passed around to the point where you didn't want them. But yeah,
I could just wait until they got to a shore or something.
Yeah, I could get used to the hammock life. But I like my sleeping bag in my tent too. This has been a good day. I'm happy we went here. I haven't been here since I was a kid. It's a lot bigger than I remembered, though. Alright, they just rang the bell saying the museum closes in 10 minutes. We gotta get out of here. This building's from the 1600s. Early 1600s at that. I hope it's not pouring down. Careful, one step is different here.
It's raining even harder than it was before. They got tanks up there.
It's absolutely pouring down. You see tanks? Oh yeah, there's a tank out there. Man, I had such a good time in the War Museum. I learned a bunch of stuff. You guys didn't even see the half of it. It was nice. I wish I had some more money right now so we could just go check out more museums every day. I used to hate these places as a kid. My mom, she always liked taking us there to teach us stuff. And I did learn a lot of stuff back then, but I just wasn't really into it. But now that I'm older, it's actually nice. Huh?
Why would your mom want to teach you stuff about that?
She just wanted us to learn about all kinds of things. We're at Copenhagen Central Station again on the opposite side of Tivoli. Just waiting for the 5C line. It's gonna be here in a couple minutes.